Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Cut and Sew this beautiful off-shoulder short dress with flap with me. Please pay attention to the style and study, then let us proceed to the cutting table. Now that we are here, the first thing you do is subtract your half length from your short dress measurement, add your folding allowance and place the measurement you have on your pattern paper like so. So after doing that, you are going to place your waist measurement, then add your dart allowance and your seam allowance. Locate your hip line. I came down by 9 inches. It could be 10 if the person is tall. Put your hip measurement and add your seam allowance like so. Then connect it with your curve or use your free hand. The next thing you want to do is to locate your before new measurement. Please don't mind the background noise. I'm here to get a microphone. So after doing that, whatever measurement you have on your hip line, you are going to subtract 1.5 from it and place it on your before new, 2 from it and place it on the lower part of your dress. So now you are going to connect the lines like so. And please, it varies. It could be 2, it could be anything. So now you come down by half inch for your waist slope like so. It is advisable to do that for your dress. I don't know, it gives it this fine effect. So go ahead and cut. And guys, you are going to see that I won't cut the waist slope because I plan to use this front pattern to cut the back. So the next thing is to cut our half length, our shoulder to waist measurements. So after locating your half length, you are going to put your back measurement, your back divided by 2, put the measurement there. Then try to locate your chest line, which is going to be gotten by putting your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5, then plus 1 for shoulder slope. Whatever you have is going to be your chest line. So I came down by 1 for that shoulder slope, then 3 inches on the neckline, then I connected like so. Now I'm going to locate my bust point measurements and my under bust measurements. So after locating my bust point and under bust, I connected the line like so. Now the next thing is to look for our bust span, which is also known as our nipple to nipple. Divide your nipple to nipple by 2 and place the measurement like that. That place could be broken line or straight line. So go ahead to label. It is important you do that. So I deducted 1 for that. Then on that bust, I deducted 1.25 each. You are going to understand with time. Just stick to this tutorial and you are going to enjoy it. So now I went up by 3 inches, then I came in by ½ inch. That is me locating my cleavage. You must have measured it too. And that is me locating my upper bust measurements. So now that we have gotten our upper bust measurements, upper bust, you can get it while measuring your clients. So on the upper bust, to tighten it, I decided to use 1.5, which is going to be 0.75 each on both sides. Then to avoid pointiness, I went up by 1 and went down by 1 inch from my bust points. It is looking weird, I know, right? So you are going to use your curve or your free hand to perfect the curve of your bust area, like I'm trying to do here. Stick with me, guys. You have to be very careful while doing this. You can see that we have a very beautiful curve. And the 1.25, this is where I get rid of the 0.25. And we have it like that. So now that we have this, I'm trying to locate my cleavage. So I decided to use sweetheart neck. In this style, it is not quite deep, but the person wants us to be a bit deeper than the actual style. So please note that this is off shoulder. So because of that, now put your bust measurements, whatever you have there, you put it there back and add your seam allowance. Then put your waist measurements, whatever you have here, return it to the normal bodice and add your seam allowance. I think I made a mistake here though. I'm going to correct it now. Yeah, it is going to be this, not the first one. So what is the next thing to do? Yeah, we are going to mark that place as our armhole. From the point where you want your shoulder to start from to your chest line, that is where your armhole is. So label it as well and cut, just like I am doing. So if you get it right, whatever wastage that is in between is going to look like a wine glass. You are going to see the magic we'll make now, guys. Please don't just watch this video, try to practice at home or in your shop or wherever you practice. So guys, look at what we have. We are done with our front bodies like that, and we have a glass of wine. Join me and enjoy. So the next thing now is to cut the back. Now that we cut the front, the next thing is to cut the back. Same way we did. Locate your shoulder to waist measurement. Then first impute your zipper allowance before you start any measurements. So now place the actual measure, same way we did for the front. Put your back measurement, locate your chest line. After locating your chest line, I'm trying to get the chest line right here. Okay, I got it. So put your bust measurements, add your seam allowance. Note that you are starting it from the line of that zipper allowance. So don't go and measure zipper allowance with it. I did the same thing for the waist, then I connected. Oh, that is me locating my the neckline. That's how deep I want it to be, and that is how wide I want the width to be too. I use the same width for the front and back. I mean 5 inches width for the neck. So I don't want the neck to just be like that, so I decided to use this beautiful curve to create a very fine neckline for the back. Then I proceeded to cut. I am very sorry about the background noise. I could not do it overnight, and I just have to do it for you guys today. So we have our back pattern. So keep it and keep them very safe. So I think the next thing we want to do now is to cut our fabric. So now we have this beautiful fabric to use. Guys, pay attention to your pattern while cutting. So the next thing we want to do now is to place our skirt pattern on it. And we are going to cut. You see, this thing looks like a parachute, so it will not be looking very fine if the thing is turned upside down. So please pay attention to your pattern. So like I said, guys, I'll cut the back of the skirt first, and reason is because of that slope that we have not gotten rid of. So I have added my zipper allowance. You can see what I did, and don't mind me, I was talking, I was saying something. So after adding my zipper allowance, I proceeded to cut like that, and that is that for the back. We are going to slit it open. You can see that this is really very simple, guys. And don't mind my iron, my manual iron. I use it to hold while cutting most time. So the next thing now is to proceed to cut the front of our skirts. This cloth is really fine, and please make sure you place your fabric very well. And guys, to avoid wastage of fabric, you need to be very careful. I think I have gotten it right. Then the next is to place my pattern like so. So hold it down like that, then proceed to cut. Now when we get to that waist slope part, you are going to see that I'm going to get rid of that waist slope, because the slope is actually meant for the front of the skirt. Voila, it is as simple as that, guys. we are done with the skirt part at the moment. So the next, I think we need to cut the flap. Yeah, you know the dress, it has a flap. So this flap thing, it is not a constant thing. Yeah, I came up by 1.5 inches, then I subtracted 1 inch. You know, I've already added seam allowance to my pattern. So for the upper part, I think I came down by 3 inches. Yes, I did came down by 3 inches, because if you pay attention to the style, it is quite slanted on the waistline. It is not straight. So I deducted my seam allowance, then that is how far I want the flap to be. So from the waistline, that is me removing my seam allowance again. I mean that 1 inch. So from that point here, you are going to connect it slantly like that to where you want the flap to get to. And the next thing is to use your free hand or whatever you want to use to create the kind of shape you want for your flap, like so. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys cannot see that part, so I just use my free hand. But I think this is looking really big. I'm not really feeling it, so I think I would like to reduce the flap a bit so it won't be that big, so it will be obvious that there is a flap. You get, guys? I'm not really feeling it, so I'm going to proceed to, let me try and cut first and see what it looks like. But I'm not really feeling this flap very well. It is not really giving at the moment. It's not really giving. Guys, I've changed my mind, Jerry, so I'm going to have to reduce the flap. Like I said, there's no constant for this thing. Just be creative with it. You can decide to do something different, something crazy, something nice. It depends on you. It is just a flap, isn't it? So now, I think I have what I want. Yeah, I have what I want, guys. This is looking better, and it won't be too bogus at the front of the dress. You know that we have added our dart allowance, so I'm trying to eradicate the dart allowance from the flap, because I will not be sewing a dart on the flap. So locate your bust span measurements, and you know it is 1 inch that we are going to use for our dart, and we are trying to remove our dart. So in order to have the same line on the other side of the skirt, if you have a wheel tracer, just get hold of your wheel tracer and trace out the line. So you are going to have exactly the same thing at the other side of the pattern, to make it easy for you without even marking it yet. You guys can see. So you are just going to use your pen to mark it out. I did that because of you guys, because me, I can actually see it. I think we are good like that. And you can decide to use your free hand too. It depends on you. After all, we use a wheel tracer. So look at me. I'm trying to get rid of my darts, so we don't have to put that on our flap. I think it will look more genuine if there's no darts showing on, if there's no dart stitches showing on the flap of the skirt. So I went ahead to use my tape to suspend it like that. I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side of the dart, like so. And then just use your tape to suspend, to hold it down, like so. You have to be very careful with it. Because you have to be very careful. It was really shaking when I was trying to fix it. Voila, I think we have gotten rid of our darts. And don't mind the fact that that place is folding. No, it has nothing to do. It does not really mean. So now if you pay attention to that snatted part, it is not really straight again. So look at me trying to correct it, and we have what we have, guys. So I have slanted it on the waistline, and I have this beautiful piece. The next thing I want to do now is to proceed to cut the back of our upper bodies. Remember, I told you guys to pay attention to your pattern. So the owner of this fabric gave me the consent to use the fabric to line the upper bodies. So with the knowledge of that person, I'm going to be using the fabric to line the upper bodies, while I'll use an ordinary lining to line the skirt part of the dress. So because I'm using lining to the fabric to line, so I don't need to open what I just cut. I'll just cut another one. Remember, it is on fold though. So it means we have it like that. I've already folded it. So instead of going ahead to just line and whatever, or cutting this one open, cutting lining and all, I've already cut both the lining and the outer part of the cloth together. But in this case, our fabric is our lining for the upper part of the dress. That's why I have to cut two like that. So now, if you pay attention to the dress, you notice that at the flap of the dress there is belt there. So this is me trying to cut the belt. It depends on how wide you want your belt to be. You can make it 4 inches, you can make, but then to make the thing realistic and for it to look genuine, so I just I decided to use 3.5 inches. Don't forget that I'm going to fold the 3.5 inches into 2 to make up for our belt. So at the end of the day, we should be having like 1.25 or 1.5 thereabouts. So now I have my belt. So I want to cut the front part of the upper bodies. So look at me adding 1/2 inch allowance. I'm going to sew that part. I've added 1/2 inch allowance. Then on the upper part, I added 0.25. It does not have to be half. It depends on how you sew. So I think I don't really sew much on that part. So I went ahead to cut, guys. We're almost there. Well, I hope you are enjoying yourself, because me, I'm enjoying myself. I won't let any moment pass by without me enjoying this tutorial. Please, if you have any question, guys, hit me up under my comment section, and please do not forget to subscribe. So now that we have this, remember I told you guys that we are using fabric to line. I'm just going to go ahead to place this is what we just cut now. I placed it on another folded fabric. If it was lining we are using, I would have placed it on a lining to cut. I don't know if you guys can see, but I can see. But I believe you understand what I just did. And then we have one part of the front upper bodies. Hold it with pin. Then we are cutting the other part too. Do not forget to pay attention to the pattern of your fabric. Use something to hold it down. Add your allowance, 1/2 inch allowance. I'm actually using marker pen because of you people, so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I told you it is a thorough tutorial. You have to understand everything by fire or by force. Don't worry, you understand it. So now that we have this, I told you I'm going to use 0.25 on that part. It is really obvious now. So go ahead and cut, guys. And do not forget to enjoy every bit of this tutorial. So now we are cutting. So after cutting this part, you are going to place it on another folded fabric, not lining. I've explained the reason to you guys. That is how the owner wants it. Plus, we have excess material, so why not? So guys, then we have that and we are done. So the next thing we want to do is to cut our flap, our beautiful flap. Place it on the fabric. Pay attention to the fabric pattern. Use something to hold it. In fact, at this point I used almost everything I got. My ankle touch, like this thing, it was not really cooperating with me, but then it is only a pattern paper. I am smarter than it is. So after doing that, I went ahead to cut. If you like, be looking at my mouth too. Don't pay attention to what you are learning. Just playing around. So after cutting it, look at what we have. So now I am going to proceed to cut my sleeve. So measure whatever you have there. It is going to be the armhole of your sleeve. Remember, it is off shoulder. So put the length of your sleeve. It is long sleeve. The length of your sleeve, the folding allowance. After putting that, this is me locating the width of my sleeve. That is how wide I want the sleeve to be. And remember, while doing the length, I added extra 4 inches. I want it to be a bit puffy on the wrist area. So now, guys, I have that is me putting the same armhole I measured. So for the part I am cutting, it is the length of from your shoulder to your upper bust. Whatever measurement you have there is what I put on that upper part before slanting it. So we have that. I'm going to use a strip to fold it in on that part. So now I'm cutting lining for my skirt. See what I just did though? I got rid of 1 inch from the lining in order to fold in the skirt. So guys, in our next tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to sew this beautiful dress. Subscribe, like, and comment.